Hotels are getting futuristic. A lot of hotels, when I stay at, now when you take a shower, they have half a glass. So it's open, so the water gets on the floor. Because that's the future. They want water on the floor. And I'm old and dumb. We really try to keep the water inside the tub. It was a pretty big deal. But now, they want the floors wet. That's what they want. They want to do no glass, but I'm still alive, so they're like, all right, do half a glass. Once that guy's gone, we'll do no glass, floors are wet, drains off the balcony. That's the next phase of my life, getting up early, We're getting up at 9:15, a little bit. Yeah, I've never seen my daughter go to school, but I've been close. I'm cold now, too, that I'm old. 45, I just get cold. I always have to bring a jacket. It could be 135 degrees outside, and I will walk around with a jacket. And I see these young people, and I just think, where are your jackets? My body's falling apart. My shoulder hurts because I stand on stage like this. It's crazy. This was a huge mistake to get into this. If I had known that this would be a big problem, I would have probably tried to not make it a habit.
I've never been called a millennial or Generation X. I've never even really heard any of those terms growing up. And now you hear them all the time. So I looked it up to try to see, I was like, what am I? And I'm technically nothing. I'm on a cusp. I'm a generation gap. And what we are called, Zennials, or we're called the Oregon Trail generation, or we are called, my favorite name is the Lucky Ones. And it's true, we're very lucky. We actually grew up in two different worlds. When I was a kid, I grew up like it was the 50s. Like you would go outside and your parents just didn't know where you were. We went to school and played Oregon Trail on a computer at school. No one had a computer at home. It's like, what are you, a zillionaire? Like, I mean, you could. But then in high school, I had AOL. We had a computer at home. Then I got a beeper. And then I got a cell phone. I didn't have social media until I was 26 with MySpace. Social media, like, whatever I did in high school is a rumor. It can't ruin my life. So if you're around my age, you might realize, like, you just end up always kind of being in the middle. Like, I understand when a Gen Xer says something, you're like, I get it. A millennial says something, you're like, no, I get it. You always just feel in the middle. And these groups all hate each other. And the most I've ever felt where I was in the middle was just this one hotel that I stayed at. So a lot of hotels now, they have Chromecast, and you can watch like Netflix in your hotel room. So I get in my room, and I turn it on, and my Chromecast is not working. So I call down to the front desk, and the oldest voice I ever heard answered the phone. This guy was a Civil War survivor. I mean, he was the age where you just go, thank you for your service. And it's like, was in the Army? You're like, probably, man. I mean, there's an age where like they all had to go at that age, so just say it. So I tell him, I go, hey, my Chromecast is not working. And I could have just made up a word. I mean, he's never heard of that. I could have said, my beep bop broke. I mean, he asked if I was staying at that hotel. That's how he goes, are you staying here? I was like, do you think I've called the front desk from a different hotel room? He goes, look, I don't know what this is, but there's a younger guy here. I'm going to send him up. He'll be able to help you. And I was like, great. So that guy comes up, and he knocks on my door. I open it. He's my dad's age. And I mean, right when I see him, you're like, all right, dude, we don't have to do this. I know you've heard of it, but if I can't fix it, you're not going to be able to fix it. But he's the generation that still wants to give it a try. So I got to let him in. So he comes in my room, sits on my bed, a little too far back, I thought. I just remember like the back of his calves were touching the bed. And I was like, are your feet dangling? How far back are you going to go? Are you cold? Do you want some covers, man? He gets the remote and just starts pressing all the buttons. And I said, I don't know if that's going to do it. And he goes, let's just keep trying it, though. I go, all right. I'm going to turn the shower on, open a window. Let's try everything. Let's just see. Maybe it turns on. Who knows? Maybe it's all connected. So we can't get it. And he goes, all right. He goes, there's a younger guy. He's about to come to work. And at this point, I'm like, I'm the younger guy, man. I was like, it's all right, dude. I don't need it. And he goes, no, it's a millennial. And I was like, all right. Now we're getting somewhere, you know? This is what the millennial does. He was born with technology. He's going to know how to fix this. I was excited. I was like, great. He goes, he comes to work in an hour. I go, wonderful. And let me tell you, you know how quick that millennial fixed it? Well, I'll never know because he just didn't come to work that night. So, and I found out because the old guy called me because he was supposed to fill in for him. He was furious, dude. He hates that millennial. He goes, he never comes to work. He doesn't take it serious. He's got a peanut allergy. And I was like, all right, well... I ended up fixing it myself because it was just unplugged. So that's my fault.
Silver War, that's how I say it. Instead of civil, I go Silver War. Because, you know, look, that might be on me, all right? I'm not... I tell you, I don't even know anything about the Silver War. I don't know anything about history. And I can tell because every history movie I watch on the edge of my seat. What is going to happen? I watched Pearl Harbor. I was as surprised as they were, you know. She runs everything because she knows everything. Like, I don't know any stuff. Like, I don't know how much money we have. Like, could not even ballpark it. I don't even know where it's at. I don't even know how to get it if I had to get it. What bank we go to, I don't know. Like, you know, I can't get robbed because, like, if some guy's like, let's go to the ATM, you know, it's like, well, I guess we gotta wait for my wife to get here. She can't leave me because I wouldn't know how to get stuff, you know? Like, she can't even die. If she starts dying, I'll die so much faster than her because I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have to call her mom and be like, hey, did she ever bring up bank stuff to you at all? Did you ever talk about that? Or what did she do for a living? Do you know? What was her deal? I love processed food, you know? I love it. I'm a farm factory table guy. And I always have been, you know? DoorDash is what's going to kill me. I don't know who I think I am. I look at it at night like it's Tinder. Just scrolling through, seeing who's open. Just, hey, Hardee's. The audacity I have when I order it. I'm just laying there. I'm like, bring me a Blizzard now. I want it right now. Lay it quietly on my porch. Don't let anybody in this house know I'm doing this. My wife was with me when I had that job. She's been with me way before where we're at right now. She was in it for the benefits. I got at the water company. We've been married 17 years. And I know, you know, the longer I'm married, the more I realize why she was put in my life. I would not be here if she was not in my life. I know all of this. Now, I've also become very reliant on her because of this. I don't know anything about me. Like, I don't know what I like and don't like to eat. I mean, someone be like, you want to try this? And I got to get her involved. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know how long to microwave something. I have to ask her every time, as if her family invented the microwave.
One thing I got when I hit my 40s was claustrophobia. Never had it. Actually got it here on the Simpsons ride, which is what's crazy. I mean, we're 100 yards away from where my life fell apart. I rode that ride with my daughter, and we're sitting on it, and we had another buddy, and he has his two girls on, and so we sit there, and they pull the bar down, and the bar, my leg gets stuck in the middle, and it just opened a door that I never knew was there. I mean, it's like a problem. I had to stop the ride. It's super embarrassing to stop a child's ride and just be like, I'm just waving. I'm like, I can't do it. And then they opened the bar and they go, all right, you can do it again. I was like, I'm out, dude. And no one got to ride it because I couldn't ride it. We all had to leave. Ruined it for everybody. And that's claustrophobia. It just kind of ruins everybody's time. Once I was checking a bag, and the guy by the counter, he sees my ticket says Nathan, the license says Nathaniel, and he was like,
this is not good. He goes, these names don't match. And I was like, but they match, right? Like, you can see the leap that we took to get from one to the other. And he's like, but they're not the same. I was like, but they're the same. And I'm realizing he cannot find out people call me Nate at that point. I mean, he can't handle that. He's going to call the police over to be like, there's a guy with 3 names trying to fly right here. If you guys want to just shoot him from over there or something. So I was like, what do you want me to do? And he goes, you should go home. That's all I got into. I said, look, I'll give you that those names don't match. But what I think is going to help a ton is the picture on the ID. Something that I've always loved that they did. And I think with 70% of that name matching and 100% face, it's 170%. I think I'll get through it. Annie was getting put down. She was a hunting dog, and she was terrible at it. And she was bred to be a hunting dog, and she was just like a misfit toy that just didn't do it. She got shot once, and that's because the guy, he would be like doing target practice, and then she'd just walk in front of the targets, and he would like hit her, and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, what are you doing? She had no awareness about her, like the senses that dogs have. We had turkeys in our backyard once, and I let her out to go chase these turkeys. You know, retired hunting dog. Figured that's fun. And we have a very normal backyard. It's not Yellowstone Park. You can see all of it at all times. I push her out, and she just pees and then comes back in the house. Never sees the turkeys. And I'm just looking at her like, you didn't feel anything? Like nothing was going? Like I sensed it as a human on the couch. I felt there was turkeys outside. You want to take just one lap around, see if... Once I was checking a bag, and the guy behind the counter, he sees my ticket says Nathan, the license says Nathaniel, and he was like, this is not good. He goes, these names don't match. And I was like, but they match, right? Like, you can see the leap that we took to get from one to the other. And he was like, but they're not the same. I was like, but they're the same. And I'm realizing he cannot find out people call me Nate at that point. I mean, he can't handle that. He's going to call the police over to be like, there's a guy with 3 names trying to fly right here. If you guys want to just shoot him from over there or something. So I was like, what do you want me to do? And he goes, you should go home. That's all I got into. I said, look, I'll give you that those names don't match. But what I think is going to help a ton is the picture on the ID. Something that I've always loved that they did. And I think with 70% of that name matching and 100% face, it's 170%. I think I'll get through it.
I go to church growing up. I grew up in Tennessee, and we went to church. I actually tried to play basketball for my high school team, but I got cut. So I had to play for my church because the church cannot cut you. They have to let you play. They could cut you. You'd be pretty bad if they're like, look, we think you're good, but Jesus does not think you're that good. He is our captain. So church ball was a lot different because we played half court, no 3-point line. We played on carpet. That's your first sign. It's not going to count. And they didn't even give us a basketball. We didn't have a basketball. We would just stand there and play on honesty. You'd be like, I just made it. It was like, oh, that's a good shot. You're really good. I stole it. I forgive you for stealing it. It was moral points. It counts later. It's great having a kid. I've been married for 7 years, and so now we just have a 1-year-old daughter. So it's getting pretty serious. And this is what took it over the edge. We were living in New York when my daughter was to be born, but I'm from Tennessee, so we flew home and my daughter was born in Tennessee. I didn't want her to be born in New York. I don't need her growing up thinking she's better than me. So I was like, you start where we start. All right. How about that? It's wild. I remember on the way to the hospital, I told my wife, I was like, look, I don't want to see anything. All right. It's going to be gross. I wish it was like the 50s when they didn't even let men in the hospital. But it's not. Now, doctors are like, do you want to deliver the baby? Why don't you do most of it? They just pull the baby out, and then they just tell you, they're here, cut the umbilical cord. They just tell you to do it, real fast. I didn't take a class. They just act like I'm the guy that cuts umbilical cords at the hospital. I almost cut the wrong part, and they were like, that's not right. I was like, oh, maybe, you should jump in. You did go to doctor's school for this. I don't know why I'm doing minor surgery right now. And then they just hand you your baby, and they're like, all right, we'll see ya. And that's when you're like, I'd really like your help now. Like, I need you to live with me or something like that. The first question I asked, they should have probably kept, I was holding her, I was like, how much do you feed it? I bet it's a lot. It seems like it'd be a lot. It sounded like I was buying a hamster at a pet store. The big thing they tell you, the number one thing they say, they're really big on they're like, whatever you do, let's just try not to shake this baby. That's like the number one goal. And they tell it to you, they're almost like, obviously you're going to want to shake the baby, but it would be so awesome if you just did not shake this baby. That would be the best. And then they showed me a video of a guy that's like, here's what I do instead of shaking my baby. He was like, I take walks, for instance. I walk 70 miles a day or something. I walk a lot. Then I signed a certificate, like I was in kindergarten, that said, all right, I promise, I swear to God, I won't shake the baby. Quit asking me about this. I've never heard the word shake so much in my entire life. That's all we talked about. And the first night we got her home, she was like, you're delirious, you're just confused and tired, and she was crying for 6 hours, and I was sitting there, I was like, wait, are we supposed to shake this baby? Is this when we do it? This seems like when you would do it. But we didn't shake her, so it's cool. We have rocked her aggressively, but got real drunk and then locked myself out of my hotel room completely naked. Yeah, I've done that in my 2-year-old daughter's lifetime. So if she hears this and she's like, oh, was that college? It's like, no, that's when you were the most dependent on me. I'm from Tennessee, and I went to college in Tennessee. I went to community college for 1 year, and I don't have one credit to show for it, which is worse than not going. If you don't go, you're like, I didn't even want to go. I wanted to go, and they didn't even give me a credit. I had to take remedial classes, which remedial basically means they're like, look, we have no idea how your high school let you leave, all right? We are shocked about it, actually. We're going to look into it. Until then, here are some classes you can take that affect no one. I took math as a class. Literally, I bought a book that said math on it in college. I took reading as well. Yeah, reading. I drove to that class. You know what that's like? I've driven to a reading class. Not even an immigrant. I'm from here. I should have knocked that out years ago. Reading, they're just impressed you made it. They're just like, look who made it today, buddy. You're like, well, you guys. Yeah. So I was in Florida, and we go golfing. It's very hot, humid, gross. You get kind of feeling gross. So I wanted to change shirts before I drove back. And I go to the trunk of my car, and I take my shirt off, standing there, no shirt. And this old man walks up and goes, Olivia? I had to turn. I was like, I'm sorry. What did you say? I'm sorry. And he was like, oh, sorry. Honest mistake. And I was like, I don't know. He was looking for his elderly wife and saw me with no shirt on and thought that could be Olivia. I had a car that he does not recognize. None of this is making him not. He's like, I don't know. That's a dead ringer for Olivia. And I wake up the next day, and my flight is gone. I mean, I've missed it. And it's not like it's at the gate. It is in Austin, Texas. They are checking into their hotel. So I go to get my phone to get another flight, and I've lost my phone. The night before, I lost it. So now I don't have my phone. So I have to go buy a ticket over the counter like it's the 50s. And when you walk up to a counter, they don't expect you to be buying a ticket like that. I got up there and they were like, all right. I was like, I would like one ticket to Austin, Texas, please. And they didn't have a flight, so I have to do that at every terminal. I just have to keep going. One ticket to Austin, Texas, please. I finally found a flight, but the girl behind the counter, she's never sold a ticket like that. She's like, I've worked here for 10 years and no one's ever done this. And she goes, I don't know how to do it. And she went back and got, probably the oldest lady I've ever seen. I think she's there for just this reason.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way. When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. My wife, one time we were out on the lake with some of our friends, and we were floating around in the water, and there was a guy in a boat right next to us, and my wife was like, oh, that's my ex-boyfriend in that boat. I didn't know who he was. She didn't have to say anything at all. She was just basically like, are you having fun? Because I would like to put a stop to that, and... and make you stare at this guy. So I was staring at him, and then I looked at her, and she was staring at him, and I felt like she was staring at him to see what her life would be like if she didn't marry me. So I started staring at him to see what my life would be like if I didn't marry her. We were putting so much pressure on this guy, and... nothing happened. We basically just realized we don't have a boat, but... my friends were like, you shouldn't try to fight him. Why didn't you go fight him? I was like, I don't know, because I would have had to swim over to that fight. I don't know how intimidating that is for a guy to see a head in a life jacket floating his way. And then I got to get in the boat. Have you ever tried to climb into a boat from water? It's not aggressive. It takes an hour if no one is in the boat. I would need his help. That's how that fight would start. Oh, thank you. My wife, one time we were out on the lake with some of our friends, and we were floating around in the water, and there was a guy in a boat right next to us, and my wife was like, oh, that's my ex-boyfriend in that boat. I didn't know who he was. She didn't have to say anything at all. She was just basically like, are you having fun? Because I would like to put a stop to that, and... and make you stare at this guy. So I was staring at him, and then I looked at her, and she was staring at him, and I felt like she was staring at him to see what her life would be like if she didn't marry me. So I started staring at him to see what my life would be like if I didn't marry her. We were putting so much pressure on this guy, and... nothing happened. We basically just realized we don't have a boat. But my friends were like, you shouldn't try to fight him. Why didn't you go fight him? I was like, I don't know, because I would have had to swim over to that fight. I don't know how intimidating that is for a guy to see a head in a life jacket floating his way. And then I got to get in the boat. Have you ever tried to climb into a boat from water? It's not aggressive. It takes an hour if no one is in the boat. I would need his help. That's how that fight would start. Oh, thank you. The guy used her a lot for duck hunting, so he would shoot a duck. She's supposed to run and go get it and then bring it back. So what I like to picture is he shoots the duck, she runs out, comes back, no duck. And she's like, I don't even know what we're doing. All right, I did not. A million things flew in the air when you shot that gun. And I'm supposed to know which one you hit. And the guy's just looking at her, and then she's like, you're not even the guy that I came out here with. Do you see, is there another guy out here by any chance? Our daughter would put birthday cone hats on her, and one slipped over her eye, and it was like that for 6 hours. I was just trying to see how long, like, how's it accidentally not coming off? And she was just going about her day, just eating, drinking, like, yeah, I can't see all that eye no more, all right? That's the cards I was dealt, and that's okay. I've been to a dog bakery. I've been to a dog bakery in my life. And this wasn't in, Beverly Hills or like Miami or something. You feel like they would have something like that. And this was in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And if you don't know where Mount Juliet is, it's fine. But I bet you can tell that doesn't sound like a town you would drive through going, I bet they have a pretty good dog bakery here. I went in there and no one was in there. The lady was looking at me like, are you here to buy this store from me? That was her only hope. I talked to her. She had some time on her hand, excited to talk. And she said her and her husband bought the store for their 27-year-old daughter who graduated from college with a degree and came out of college and said, I want to own a dog bakery. I want to make cakes for dogs. Which if I asked my 6-year-old what she wants to do when she grows up, I think she'll tell me she wants to make cakes for dogs. And I'm going to tell her that she can do whatever she wants to do, hoping she doesn't turn 27 and go, let's talk about those cakes for those dogs. And maybe they're usually busy. Maybe I was on there on a slow dog birthday day. I don't know. All right? She told me everything was organic, and I was like, that's good. That's what I like to hear. All right? This is for that dog that's outside licking gum off the sidewalk right now. And if anybody deserves organic food in our house, it's not this little girl. I'm not going to waste it on her. It's for that dog that's wandered out in the highway because it doesn't know what cars are. I went to Honduras, another place because I was at the airport and the guy was like, I was like, I'm going to Honduras. He was like, what city? And I was like, I'm just learning right now that's not the name of the city. So, I don't know, dude. Just wherever other people are going, probably. Let's just go there and figure it out. We get to the base, and the guy, he's like telling us about Honduras, and he's like, you got to be careful. He's like, you got to really look out for snakes. There's a lot of venomous snakes here. So when you walk around, just keep an eye out. And he was like, now if you get bit by a snake, the best thing to do is then just go ahead and catch the snake and bring it so then we know like what snake bit you. I was like, dude, I'm pretty positive that's like exactly what you're not supposed to, like, I've never seen that ever on Animal Planet. Like, someone gets bit and then they gotta be like, now I gotta get it. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I was like, that doesn't make sense. I've never caught a snake in my life. And then when I got bit for the first time, I gotta get it together and catch a snake. I was like, it's not going to go good, man. I was like, he's going to keep biting me. That's all that's going to happen. And he was like, it doesn't matter. Like, you've already been bit. And I was like, do you even know what a snake is? It completely matters. There's a huge difference between one bite and probably 30 bites. That's what we're going to be at if I try to catch this snake. Who told you this? The snake? Is that who told you to tell me all of this? Whose side are you on? Our DJ was awful, and that's because we got my mom to hire the DJ. I don't know who thinks to ask someone in their 50s for DJ recommendations. No one ever is like, Mom, are you in with the local DJ scene by any chance? She hired someone older than her. He just had CDs, and this was when computers were doing real good. He got super drunk, played the same song 3 times in a row. White Wedding, which he said was by Billy Joel. He only had one leg, seriously, and that's fine, you know. No one. I had a hard time in school. When I barely graduated, got into a community college, barely got into a college they have to let everybody in. I went to community college for 1 year. I have 0 credits. Community college, a lot of people don't know, is college when they're like, you're probably going to stay in your community. So we're just going to show you the ropes around town. kind of give you a lay of the land. That whole year, I don't have credits because I had to take all remedial classes, which remedial is basically they're classes for someone my age now trying to go back to school because they don't remember school. And I took them right out of school. They were like, you don't remember school? I was like, I just came from school. And they go, it looks like you've never heard about it. Everybody in there was like 50. I'm like, well, who's the teacher?
We've been traveling around like crazy, doing all these driving dates that have been super fun. I like traveling. I love being on the road. I remember one time I was in Los Angeles, and I was going to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas the next day, and I had a really early flight. So I remember like the night before, I was like, just be normal and, have a normal night. And ended up hanging out, become a bit of a problem. And I wake up the next day, and my flight is gone. I mean, I've missed it. And it's not like it's at the gate. It is in Austin, Texas. They are checking into their hotel. So I go to get my phone to get another flight, and I've lost my phone. The night before, I lost it. So now I don't have my phone. So I have to go buy a ticket over the counter like it's the 50s. And when you walk up to a counter, they don't expect you to be buying a ticket like that. I got up there, and they were like, all right. And I was like, I would like one ticket to Austin, Texas, please. And they said, all right, go buy it, and don't be weird about it. I go, nope, I'd like to write a check to you for one ticket to Austin, Texas. And they didn't have a flight, so I have to do that at every terminal. I just have to keep going. One ticket to Austin, Texas, please. I finally found a flight, but the girl behind the counter, she's never sold a ticket like that. She's like, I've worked here for 10 years, and no one's ever done this. And she goes, I don't know how to do it. And she went back and got, probably the oldest lady I've ever seen. I think she's there for just this reason. And she came out, she had like that old credit card machine that you run, and she's like, I got it. This is super fun for me. It was weird to not have my phone. Everybody has their phone. I was going through the airport, and you just don't have it, and you just stare. We were waiting in line, and you're just like looking ahead, and people are just like, all right, dude, what is wrong with you? Just regular people like, where's your phone? I'm like, I don't have it. I would like to talk to you, though, if you would talk to me. I'd love to chat for a little bit. I thought I was going to breeze through security, but I got held up just because the guy in front of me. And he goes through the metal detector, and it goes off. And so they asked him, they're like, do you have anything metal on you? And he goes, I have keys on me, my keys. And we thought he was going to say like his knee or hip, just old people have metal in them a lot. And he goes, keys? Do you think that would do it? You're like, I think that would be the number one answer on Family Feud of what would set a metal detector off. Keys. I told him, I was like, look, let's try it with and without it. I'd love to know. Maybe they've been lying to us about this key thing. Look, you think I'm old? There's people older than me still around. Yeah. That's crazy. It's crazy. Walking around. People from the 30s. My great Aunt Helen, from the 30s. She's deaf. They didn't know she was deaf until she was 9 years old. That's how long it took them to figure it. Deaf, one of the easier ones to figure out. And the doctors were baffled as they smoked in her face. And they're like, I don't know, She's rude, I'll tell you that. My parents are getting older. So my mom, we had her go pick up our daughter recently at a friend's house, and I texted her the address. She drove to the wrong house. So she knocked on the door, and another grandmother answered. Well, this is not good. This is like two dogs seeing each other through a fence. They're going to be there for a while, So my mom, she knocks on the door. The grandmother, my mom goes, is my granddaughter in there? And that lady goes, I have 3 grandsons, so no solution. Just 2 grandmothers. Do you have stuff? I have stuff too. They talk for 30 minutes. It's a wrong door. I had to go get my daughter, then find my mom. My dad, too. My dad has surgery 8 times a year, probably. And He loves it. He loves it. He had surgery because he was addicted to Afrin, the nose spray. Look, I've been addicted to Afrin, the nose spray. If you don't know what it is, I would honestly tell you not to get involved. It's one of the best things I've ever been part of. Solves everything immediately. When I was on it too, my wife she'd be like, "What's that?" No, she'd hear one puff. "What's that?" I go, "I ain't gonna live like this. I ain't worked this hard not to do effort in my own home." So, my dad goes to the doctor, and they were like, "Do you use Afrin?" And he goes, "No." And the doctor was like, "I can see that you use it. I was just saying that." He goes, "How long have you been using it?" My dad said 5 years, which is a lie. But my mom was there, and she goes, "How about 45 years?" That's how long he's used it. 45 years. The back of the box says no more than 3 days. There's not a medicine on earth that tells you to give it a good 45-year run.
Thank you very much. My name is Nate. I'm from Tennessee. And I always like when I meet people and they hear my accent because they're always like, "Hey, where are you from?" I'm like, "Tennessee." They're like, "That's cool. I got a cousin that lives in Florida." I said, "What?" All right. Can we just name the states? Is that what's going on right now? Is his name Kevin? Because it's not Kevin. I don't know who it is. I'm not gonna lie to you. I gotta go. So good talk, though. Nice hang. My last name is Bargatze, too. I'm Italian. But here's the deal. I'm not accepted by the Italians because of the way I talk. It just doesn't work out. Like, I couldn't go to the mafia and be like, "So what are y'all doing?" What's happening? I like spaghetti. I would like to join. I like what y'all are doing.
I don't know if anybody's like a prostitute here. I would figure some of you, most of you. All right. All of you? Oh, wow. All right. If here's it's a rough time for prostitutes because one, the economy is not that good, and if you're a prostitute in New York, you're getting murdered. So that's a lot too, you know. But if I was always like, they did just have a bunch of prostitutes get murdered in New York, and I was thinking like when a cop goes and walks up on someone that's been killed, it sucks because you have to go. I mean, the person's dead, that sucks, but then you got to go tell the family, and that's like horrible news. But if it's a prostitute, that's double the bad news. You got their family doesn't know they're a prostitute, so you got to go up and be like, "Oh yeah, your daughter's dead," and it wasn't going that good to begin with because she was a prostitute. So, yeah. But I thought about it. I go, all right, if you have to do that, I think the best way to go about it is like you should like when you go to the door, open with the prostitute thing, kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. You know, you're like, "Look, sir, I hate to say this, but your daughter was a prostitute." Because then every father's going to freak out and be like, "I can't believe I'm going to kill her." Then you're like, "Oh, that's actually, it's crazy that you brought that up without me saying." Do you remember Cecil the lion? That lion that got killed by that dentist, and people got upset. You know, they like, can't do that. And all I thought, I was like, what are the odds? The one lion you shoot, everybody was like, "It wasn't Cecil, was it?" That's unbelievable. That's the worst luck. Both of them have the worst luck possible. There's 30,000 lions left. There's a 1 in 30,000 chance you shoot a lion and the whole world's like, was it Cecil? That's our best friend. We watch him every day. And it's like, he was like, "I don't know, it was a lion, dude. They look like lions. They didn't have something special, make them stand out. If we love one, give them a hat. I don't know, like." I don't believe in science. I just it's like I don't understand it, so it's easier not to believe in it. It's a quick, they could be making stuff up, I read that they said like cockroaches are like 350 million years old, and it's like, are they, or do you know? I don't know how to go figure that out, because that's what I think you're doing. I think you know that I wouldn't even have a clue to start to figure that out or want to. So you're just throwing numbers out at me and I just go, all right. I guess that's what they told y'all in school. Me and my wife, we were in Nashville last summer, and we went out on the lake, and we were, like, floating around in the water, and there was a guy in a boat, like, right next to us, and my wife was like, oh, that's my ex-boyfriend in that boat. I didn't know who he was, so she didn't have to say that at all. She was just basically like, you having fun? Because I like to put a stop to that and make you stare at this guy the rest of the day. So I'm, like, staring at him, and then I look at my wife, and she's staring at him, and I feel like she's staring at him to see what her life would be like if she didn't marry me. My friends were like, you should have went and tried to fight him. And I was like, well, I would have had to swim over to that fight. So I don't know how intimidating that is for a guy to see a head in a life jacket floating his way. And then I gotta get in the boat, you know? Like, if you ever try to climb into a boat from water, it's not aggressive. It takes an hour if no one is in the boat. If he's in there, I'm never gonna get in. I would need his help. I'd be like, could you help me into this boat? I can't tell you why, but I really need in this boat. We're trying to discipline her, too, and it's hard to discipline kids nowadays. You know, you can't do it. You can't spank them. You can't talk about it in a microphone for sure. So, it's like, what do? You gotta hope it works out. Spanking got, like, blown out of proportion, because, like, you would see, like, a video of a lady, like, fighting her kid in a Walmart parking lot, and they were like, no, you're not supposed to spank. You're like, that was a regular fight. That's not, like, what we're talking about. I was spanked. My generation was. It was fine, you know? You ever talk to really old generations? They just act like they were beat with bats. They say stuff to you like, that doesn't sound like that should have been happening. You should have called the police or something. Like, the police would hit us as well. Everybody was hitting us. We had to put our dog down recently, and it's a tough thing to do, you know? Nothing was wrong with her. I'm just really busy right now, and she was very sick. That was a joke, all right? That was a joke, and she would have loved that joke, so don't you worry about it. That's the type of humor she had. She was a rescue. It's not your labradoodle humor, all right? It's a little darker. I was in San Francisco, and I bet there's a bunch of fun coffee places, and I live in my dumb world that I just want this one little drink. So I go into a Starbucks, and I get to the front, and I was like, I'll take an iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And then she goes, iced coffee with cream? I go, iced coffee with cream. She goes, with cream? I go with cream. And she said it one more time. She said, so iced coffee with cream? And at that point, I should have said, what's going on right now? Where are you at in your head? Because I feel like we're in two different places. But I was nervous, and there was people behind me, and I was like, cream or no cream? Honestly, I'll give you $20 if you let me leave right now. I cannot, this is the most I can talk about this. I don't even know what's happening anymore. So I paid, I go stand in line, you know, where you gotta wait for your drink. There's like 5 of us waiting for our drinks. So she puts the iced coffee up there first, no cream, and I was like, whatever. I'll just do it myself, you know? Like, I don't like doing it myself, but I was like, all right, I'll just do it. So before I could get it, she's walked back with a can of whipped cream, and she's shaking it. And I'm just looking at it, like, thinking that's someone else's. I'm like, someone's getting whipped cream. That's fun. One of you guys are getting whipped cream? And I look down, and she starts spraying the whipped cream on top of my iced coffee. She just yells out, iced coffee, whipped cream, yells it out. The other 4 people, they turn their back, like they don't want you to accidentally think that's what they ordered. And I'm just left alone, like, that's what you thought I said over there? You don't think I would have said iced coffee with whipped cream? You think I'm just some nut job? It's like, I've had too many problems in this Starbucks, so I'm only going to use the words that I want and no other words. Iced coffee, whipped cream cup. And they didn't have a top for it, so whipped cream, it doesn't sink and become less embarrassing. It moves. It's like a buoy in an ocean that everybody sees. And I'm just walking through the crowd like, this is my favorite drink. I don't know if you guys drink this at all. Is anybody? Nobody does this? I'm surprised. And I walked outside and threw it away and tried again at a different Starbucks. We got very lucky with our neighbors. Our neighbors are super cool, and we're very close with them. They all have real jobs. They like went to college and stuff. And one of them is a management consultant, so he manages all the consultants. And yeah, it's a tough job, all right? There's a lot of consultants, and he's like, you better get back, you know? You just can't consult up in here. So
He's busy. Our other neighbor's an actuary. I thought that was with birds. I was like, what's that bird right there? He goes, I don't know. And I was like, as an actuary, you don't know what that bird is right there?
My biggest concussion was when I was 12 years old. I fell down a cliff. And so one day I slip and fall. So my friend that I'm with, he goes and gets my mom. There was a guy fishing in a boat. And so he sees me and he gets me into the boat. And then he takes me over to some stairs, which he had to be like, why didn't he just use these stairs? I mean, they were right next to that cliff. Like, it didn't even make sense. So they carry me up. And my mom's in an ambulance in her pajamas. My dad, who I think everybody knows now is a magician, and he's doing a show in a full tuxedo. So when they get to the hospital, the doctor starts talking to my parents. I mean, my mom looks homeless. My dad's in a tuxedo. It looks like they're divorced and someone's not paying child support. Ever get in those fights, like you'll be at home, like you and your spouse, and you guys are not talking to each other, and you're in the house together, no kids, the house is quiet, and you just stay on opposite ends, and then you pass each other in the hallway. That's like the funniest part of it, because you don't live in a mansion, you have one hallway, and you just didn't time it out right, and you just have to walk by each other like strangers. You're like, oh, excuse me, sorry, yeah, no, go ahead. She'll be watching TV. I'm like, ma'am, are you watching this? I couldn't tell. I was going to change it if you weren't watching it. It's the silent treatment. The silent treatment is, it's a very common thing. Everybody knows what it is. I think women are just born knowing it. I don't think you're taught it. I don't think it's like, my mom did it and her mom. It's an instinct that's in us all, that we all just know. Here's what made me think of that. I rewatched the movie Sixth Sense. And I'm not trying to do a Sixth Sense joke. This is a 20-year-old movie. I also have to spoil it, but it's 20 years old. So if you don't know by now, I don't know what to tell you, and don't be like, we're going to watch it tonight. We're going to go to Blockbuster on the way home, so he's dead the whole time. And I don't know. I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's a pretty big part of it. But for those that have, think about when you watched it. When we all saw this movie for the first time, none of us knew he was dead. That was the biggest surprise we've ever seen in our life, We just thought his wife wasn't talking to him for like a year. That made more sense to us than him possibly being dead.
My first memory of my life is I was 5 years old, and I remember my mom walked me out to the front yard, and my dad pulled up with this old red Mazda. He's dressed as a clown. That doesn't even faze me. That's just how he left. How else would he come home? And the Easter Bunny was in the passenger seat. That's the first thing that I remember to my life. If you want to know how you get into comedy, that's a pretty good nudge.
She put Life 360 on my phone. That's so they can track you even when they're not near you. You might not even know you have it on your phone. It's worse than what the government's doing. I would rather the government track me than her. She just calls me, why are you at Krispy Kreme donuts? I'm like, look, I'm not going to live like this, all right? If I want donuts, I'm not going to lock my phone in a gym locker and go pay cash for donuts. I've done it, but I'm not going to do it every time. We took a trip to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale. And her and our daughter are flying from Nashville, where we live. And I'm flying from Detroit. We're meeting at Fort Lauderdale's airport. I have to find them when they land. So I called her because I was about to take off. And I was like, all right, what time do you guys leave? She goes, noon. And it was 11:30 and they're still at home. I was like, Laura, I don't know if you even know what an airport is. But if that plane was in our driveway, I don't think you could make it. And she said, that's what time we leave for the airport. Our flight's not till 1:30. And I was like, all right. So what do you think I wanted to know when I asked that? Is that what you thought the best time you could give me was a time that means nothing to nobody? What time did you go to bed last night? Just tell me that, and I'll just look up all the planes that land in Florida, and I'll guess which one I think you're on. She said, I'm sorry I don't talk the way you want me to talk. I'm like, I want you to talk like a regular person, all right? like you've been around people before, you know? We didn't talk in Florida, I'll tell you that.
So it's 2001. Obviously, 9/11 happens. If you're old enough, you remember when 9/11 happened, the whole country got very scared that there's going to be more attacks. Well, we did as well in Wilson County. We figured they just went to New York, obvious next stop, Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And they are going to poison our town's water. So they got all of us water meter readers to guard the water tanks. I really did this. I stood just in a dark field, alone, waiting for the Taliban to show up. No weapons, no training.
The guy used her a lot for duck hunting, so he would shoot a duck, she's supposed to run and go get it, and then bring it back. So what I like to picture is he shoots the duck, she runs out, comes back, no duck. And she's like, I don't even know what we're doing. All right, I did not, a million things flew in the air when you shot that gun, and I'm supposed to know which one you hit? And the guy's just looking at her, and then she's like, you're not even the guy that I came out here with. Do you see, is there another guy out here by any chance? Our daughter would put birthday cone hats on her, and one slipped over her eye, and it was like that for 6 hours. I was just trying to see how long, like how's it accidentally not coming off? And she was just going about her day, just eating, drinking, like, yeah, I can't see all that eye no more, all right? That's the cards I was dealt, and that's okay. He goes, hey, this kid fell, can you carry him up? So they carry me up, and my mom's in an ambulance in her pajamas. My dad, who I think everybody knows now is a magician, and he's doing a show in a full tuxedo. So when they get to the hospital, the doctor starts talking to my parents. I mean, my mom looks homeless. My dad's in a tuxedo. It looks like they're divorced and someone's not paying child support. On a sadder note of sorts, we had to put our dog down recently, and it's a tough thing to do. You know, nothing was wrong with her. I'm just really busy right now, and she was very sick. That was a joke. All right, that was a joke, and she would have loved that joke. So don't you worry about it. That's the type of humor she had. She was a rescue. It's not your labradoodle humor, all right? It's a little darker. I heard a story. This kid, he had 2 goldfish. So he grabbed one of them, he squeezed it, it exploded. That's pretty crazy. I don't feel bad for that goldfish. You know, he died quickly. I feel bad for the other goldfish that just has to deal with that trauma now. You know how insane that would be? They're not going to buy this kid another fish. He's killing them. Like, he's got to... Imagine if you're locked in a room with someone and they just exploded. It would change your life forever. It's the worst life ever. I go to get my phone to get another flight, and I've lost my phone. The night before, I lost it. So now I don't have my phone. So I have to go buy a ticket over the counter like it's the 50s. And when you walk up to a counter, they don't expect you to be buying a ticket like that. I got up there, and they were like, all right. I was like, I would like 1 ticket to Austin, Texas, please. And they said, all right, go buy it, and don't be weird about it. I go, no, I'd like to write a check to you for 1 ticket to Austin, Texas. And they didn't have a flight, so I have to do that at every terminal. I just have to keep going. 1 ticket to Austin, Texas, please. I finally found a flight, but the girl behind the counter, she's never sold a ticket like that. She's like, I've worked here for 10 years and no one's ever done this. Vanderbilt went to their first bowl game in football in like 20 years, in 2008. And so we all go to it. We're very excited. It's at Tennessee Titans Stadium. So me and a bunch of buddies get together. We go tailgate. We get cornhole, a grill. Like we're going all out. And my ticket was at will call. So I was like, look, I gotta go get my ticket. I'll be right back. So I go get my ticket. And before the lady gives it to me, she ripped it, which means you have to go in. And it was, a full 3 hours before the game starts. I was like, I don't want to go in yet, you know? And she's like, you have to go. And I just walked in to just an empty stadium, 60,000 empty seats. I go to my seat. I don't even just go to a different, I went to like the one I'm supposed to go to, like a loser. The players are like in jeans. They're not even dressed yet. I was like, I'm real excited for the game. I like started them. They're like, oh, I didn't even know anybody was in here. Did you go to Vandy? I was like, you would think with how early I'm here. But I also think if I went to Vandy, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in. I walked to the top of the stadium and just watched my friends tailgate. I just sat up at the very top. And I was like, I'm already in, guys. Yeah, I decided to save our numbered seats. Nothing was open. I stood in front of a concession stand like I was waiting for an iPhone to come out. Just that gate was down. I'm just like already trying to figure out what I'm going to eat. And they came and opened it, and one side got stuck, and I helped them. I go, I'll get that. So I helped them open it. They're like, oh, do you work here? I was like, I've been here a little bit longer than you have. So I'm not smart at all. I'm smart enough to like answer my 6-year-old's questions. She's like, why is the sun hot? I'm like, 'cause it's on fire. It's a stupid question. And I tell her that, all right, because I know that she'll be smarter than me next year and then just for the rest of her life. So I am really sticking it to her while I can. I know nothing about like adult stuff that you're supposed to know about. Global warming, that's one that everybody yells at you about. And they're like, you better do something. I'm like, I'm so tired of it. Let's do it. I'm like, I barely made it out of high school. I don't really know how rain works. So why don't you let me figure that out, and then I'll do global warming, you know? But I've seen it rain without clouds. Where's that water coming from? So I'm pretty swamped with this rain stuff right now, but once I get to the bottom of that, I'm going to do global warming, and I've got some pretty good ideas, you know?
Say that throughout the whole thing. My name's Nate. It might be hard to understand me at some time. I'm from New York City. I'm just kidding. I'm from Nashville. I wear this shirt for a couple of reasons. So if I get questions like that, they're like, oh, Nashville. Okay. If people come in late, they know. They don't have to interrupt us by asking. They'll just read my shirt. If they can't figure that out, then they're probably from Nashville too. They probably have the same shirt. I also wear it in case I get lost. People know where to send me. It's kind of like a dog leash. I got my name and number written in the back. So you can always find me if you see me laying on the street. Just send me back to Nashville. I'll be good. One thing I noticed since living here in Chicago is the directions that you get from so many people. Y'all use the compass a lot here, as I understand. First time I moved up here, I'm like, how do you go to the store? They're like, go north 5 blocks, then go south 3. All right. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know which way is north or south or east or left or right or straight. Or I didn't bring my compass today. And it's so confusing because the one thing they taught me was like, just remember, the lake's always east. I can't always see the lake. And people ask me, because you see someone, this is the other reason I wear the shirt, because don't ask me for directions. But people will ask me. They'll be like, hey, I need to, get here. And I'm like, the lake's east. Easy throws them off and they just leave it. And I keep going wandering around the city with my compass. Another thing here is my only phone here is a cell phone. Cell phones are about ridiculous. The signal on a cell phone, does it ever work? Because there's really never. The one time I get a full signal, if you do this, you're done. You're out. Your signal's gone. You have nothing else left. I got quite a few places that Verizon guy can go, and he ain't gonna be able to hear when he says, "Can you hear me now?" Like my house. Come to my house. Come outside my house. Walk down the street. I can be standing in the middle of the ditch, and I'm sure I would still be like, "Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?" And I hope I never get hurt and have to call 911, because I'm screwed. Or if someone breaks in my house and I have to climb under my bed, I'm like, "Hey, there's a guy in the house." And they're like, "Sir, are you there?" And I gotta kind of scoot over. There's a guy in the house. Hello? In my house, there's a guy. Until I have to crawl out, and I just get killed. Then I'm bleeding, having to roll around with a knife in my back. I need an ambulance. What? I need an ambulance? If you don't mind, please. I don't know if this has to do with that, but what's the age where you're not scared of the dark? Because I don't know if I've hit it yet. This is why I'm standing in this little circle right here. If I go outside of it, I'm screwed. I'll never make it back. This is the only thing that I figured out. The age and the point to where you do it, or how you stop being scared of the dark, is you get married. And that's so you can have someone share your bed with you. So the monster now has got to decide between one of you. You might have a chance. And then the reason you have kids is so you pass them along to him, and then he leaves you alone the rest of your life. And then you're okay. And the thing about, when you were a kid, you were so scared of the dark, and you just hated it. Unless there was one other kid in there. Then if you had a friend over, then it's 2 8-year-old kids in the bed, and you're like, I'm feeling okay. Like the monster's down there going, "Fred, Johnny's got someone to spend the night tonight. I don't know if I'd go up there." That's 2 8-year-old kids you got to mess with. It's probably not a good idea. Heard his parents are divorced, though, so let's go after his dad. A game you used to play also when you were a kid is hide and seek, hide and go seek. I think that is a very, very fun game. I don't think it gets taken seriously enough, though. Maybe when you were 10, when you would break your ankle to hide in the dryer so nobody could find you. And when you'd get those good spots where you'd be there for a good hour or so. And then you're like, I don't know if this is either a great, and you don't want to leave because it's a great spot. What if he sees you leaving? You can never go back. That's the dryer. Who thinks of the dryer? I thought of the dryer. I'm a genius. So then you got to go up there, and he's already quit. He quit 2 hours ago. He's like, I couldn't find you. I looked for a little bit. The Easter was just recently, and speaking of hiding, they had an Easter egg hunt, and the thing is now is when they hide the Easter egg, they just throw them out on the grass. It's not because I guess they want everybody to find an egg, make everybody happy. That's not how I did it. My dad would hide them on the roof. You'd be mowing the grass in August and run over an egg and be like, "There it is. I found it." You'd climb trees, fall down and break the leg, get up, and you still had it. And you'd open it, and it was the money egg, and it was worth everything, with $5 in it, and that's all you needed. Holidays are great too. I remember the first time I met the Easter Bunny. He pulled up in my dad's car with his seatbelt on. My dad picked him up, I guess. He was about 6'5". I was wondering, I was like, that's a tall Easter Bunny. It's not what you think. I don't see how he snuck in my house. Santa Claus also is someone that... And you're like, I don't remember asking Santa for socks. Where did he get that idea? Socks and a toothbrush. He's wasting 2 good presents on socks and a toothbrush. Did my mom talk to him when I left? Because I don't remember saying that. And then, then you got to go through the opening the presents and everything, and that's an awkward moment when you got to open presents. You don't know the reaction you're supposed to give, especially like, go ahead and open now. We're going to watch you. And then you got to open it, whether you like. Are you supposed to jump up and just and just start running around the room? I can't believe you got this. This is unbelievable. You're so happy. There's not any good reaction. If it is a terrible present, you're like, yeah, all right, thank you. And if that joke went well, didn't it? Should probably work on that one. I got another little story. Is my family, they used to give, my mom's side of the family would give everybody the same present. That was just everybody would get the exact same present. And my dad was actually telling me this story because he was before I was born, and he said that we have 2 people in our family and they're deaf. Well, this is the year when smoke alarms came out. So they got 2 smoke alarms. 2 deaf people got 2 smoke alarms. They didn't think about that, It's not a Braille smoke alarm either, where you walk by. It beeps real loud. So, and their house burnt down a couple of days later. I guess they didn't get the batteries in there right or something. Well, that is my time, and I'm Nate. Thank you.
She's the cheaper one of us as well. Not in a bad way, She likes the lights being off. It's a fun time being in that environment. Turn the light on, find your seat, get a stick, knock the light back off. Sit in the dark and be sad. And just be sad all day. But you're saving nickels upon nickels. Right when I get in bed, you turn that light off? I can't tell that's on. Well, get out of bed, turn it off. 80 years, we'll give our daughter $37 from all the nickels we saved. Once I was checking a bag, and the guy by the counter, he sees my ticket says Nathan, the license says Nathaniel, and he was like, this is not good. He goes, these names don't match. And I was like, but they match, right? Like, you can see the leap that we took to get from one to the other. And he was like, but they're not the same. I was like, but they're the same. And I'm realizing he cannot find out people call me Nate at that point. He can't handle that. He's going to call the police over to be like, there's a guy with 3 names trying to fly right here. If you guys want to just shoot him from over there or something. So I was like, what do you want me to do? And he goes, you should go home. That's all I got. I said, look, I'll give you that those names don't match. But what I think is going to help a ton is the picture on the ID. Something that I've always loved that they did. And I think with 70% of that name matching and 100% face, it's 170%. I think I'll get through it. Always talk to me very easy too, or dumb. Like if I talk to a stranger, I can always feel it. And I think it's my eyes. I have big eyes, And so I just get a lot of like, you still with me, man? And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I'm listening. And he goes, all right, I don't feel like you could have been anywhere, I can be wasteful. If something gets to the bottom, I will throw it away. Ketchup. If ketchup gets like that much left, I'm like, blah. She will put the old ketchup with the new ketchup. That way your ketchup's always gross. Toothpaste. I will use it to what I think the average person uses it to. I don't think I should feel muscles trying to get it out. I'm not going to have an iron on top of it. But she'll do it more. So I know when I'm done with it, I give it to the hobo I married. She cuts it, gets it all out. I married an old man from the Depression is who I married. Recently, I was walking in my car, and I had a college kid come up, and he was raising money, for nature, or it was for Earth. It was nature and Earth. I don't know. He used real words, but it was, basically, I felt he looked at me, he's like, it's going to Earth. And I was like, yeah, well, Earth is going through it right now. So he was telling me everything Earth is going through. It's pollution. He said our water's being poisoned. I think I was buying a tree. I don't really know. But I tried to give him cash, and he was like, oh, you got to do a credit card. I was like, okay. So I give random iPad all my family information. It was $75. So he's like, swipes the card. And then after it goes through, he goes, just so you know, it's a monthly charge. Yeah. He told me after. And he was like, look, you can cancel it on the website. I was like, I don't even know what's going on right now. I say oil. Super Southern one. Oil. I don't even know how to say it, like how to y'all. Oil. O-I-L. Yeah. Guys. I go motor oil, like tin full. I mean, Southern Community College, that should be mandatory. Did they fix that? They should write OIL on the board. And I just go, oil. They go, all right, we're going to take care of that, all right? There's a pretty good chance you're going to be working with a lot of that. Silver War, that's how I say it. Instead of civil, I go Silver War. Because, look, that might be on me, all right? I'm not. I tell you, I don't even know anything about the Silver War.
I went into one I was trying to buy a hammock. So I go back to where I imagine the hammocks live. And I went up to this guy and I was like, hey man, do you guys sell hammocks? And he was like, what's a hammock? And it threw me off enough that I was like, am I saying it wrong? I was like, I think I'm saying it wrong, because you know what it is. And I was like, is it Hammett with a T? Does that sound right? Like, do you guys sell hammocks? And he was like, we're out of hammocks. We're out of them. It's hammock season. And I left, went to my car, Googled where to buy a hammock. And Google was like, do you mean hammock? It's like, I sure do, Google. Where were you at during all of this?
So they wanted us to be prepared for it. What they did was, like, you always hand out flyers if a kid goes missing. They put a picture of the kid and all the information below the flyer. So the height, weight, eye color, all that stuff. So instead of making a flyer, what they made us do was we wrote on a piece of paper our name, height, weight, eye color, and then we just held it up against a wall, and they just took a picture of us. We already have one made, which if we would have been kidnapped, my parents would be in prison right now. No one's going to believe you pre-took pictures. I mean, they're going to just look at this and be like, all right, just tell us where the kids are at. That would be the easiest thing to do. I've never seen this ever.
We got very lucky with our neighbors. Our neighbors are super cool, and we're very close with them. They all have real jobs. They went to college and stuff. And one of them is a management consultant, so he manages all the consultants. And yeah, it's a tough job, all right? There's a lot of consultants, and he's like, you better get back, you can't consult up in here. So he's busy. Our other neighbor's an actuary. I thought that was with birds. I was like, what's that bird right there? He goes, I don't know. And I was like, as an actuary, you don't know what that bird is right there?
My wife gets mad because I don't like any of her photos. She's like, why don't you like any of my photos, And it's like, is this not enough, us living together and stuff? I don't... And I did like it. When we took it, I said I like it. I told you I like it. I looked at it. I'm in it. I'm in the photo. There's not much more I can do with this photo. We've been together my entire life. Since we started dating when I was 21. I'm 37 now. And I went from my mom to her. So I don't even know what it feels like to not have some lady be like, I don't know if I would do that, And now we have a daughter, so I'll never know. I'll never know.
My biggest concussion was when I was 12 years old. I fell down a cliff. And so one day I slip and fall. So my friend that I'm with, he goes and gets my mom. There was a guy fishing in a boat. And so he sees me and he gets me into the boat. And then he takes me over to some stairs, which he had to be like, why didn't he just use these stairs? I mean, they were right next to that cliff. Like, it didn't even make sense. So they carry me up. And my mom's in an ambulance in her pajamas. My dad, who I think everybody knows now is a magician, and he's doing a show in a full tuxedo. So when they get to the hospital, the doctor starts talking to my parents. I mean, my mom looks homeless. My dad's in a tuxedo. It looks like they're divorced and someone's not paying child support.
So my dad goes to the doctor, and they were like, do you use Afrin? And he goes, no. And the doctor was like, I can see that you use it. I was just saying that. He goes, how long have you been using it? My dad said 5 years, which is a lie. But my mom was there, and she goes, how about 45 years? That's how long he's used it, 45 years. The back of the box says no more than 3 days. There's not a medicine on earth that tells you to give it a good 45-year run.
We got very lucky with our neighbors. Our neighbors are super cool, and we're very close with them. They all have real jobs. They went to college and stuff. And one of them is a management consultant, so he manages all the consultants. And it's a tough job, all right? There's a lot of consultants, and he's like, you better get back. You can't consult up in here. So he's busy. Our other neighbor's an actuary. I thought that was with birds. I was like, what's that bird right there? He goes, I don't know. And I was like, as an actuary, you don't know what that bird is right there?
I remember I would fall out of a bunk bed. I slept in a bunk bed. I was on the top bunk, and I would get over a railing and just fall 6 feet to the ground and just land. I mean, you don't catch yourself. It's just whatever hits first. All your body weight just lands on your head. I got a full-blown concussion. I'm crying. My parents are like, just go back to a deep sleep for 7 hours. I've had 3 concussions in my life, and none of them because of sports. Just living life, man, Stuff happens to your head. What are you going to do? My wife's always around, too, I feel. Just always, near, especially about home. It's like I married a cat that I'm like, you just always on me. If I do if I go to the bathroom, she's like, I'm going to paint the bathroom door while you're in there. I'm like, you couldn't do it later? And I had all the time to do it. I thought I'd wait till you went in. And that's when I was going to start. If I eat something she doesn't approve of, she just pops up, man. I mean, I'll try to sneak it. I could eat an Oreo cookie in the attic at 3 a.m. And I would bet my life a light would cut on and she'd be like, what are you doing up here? And if I questioned it was like, what are you doing up here? She's like, I'm always up here. This is when I do my attic stuff. When you've been in a fight and you're like, all right, how long is this fight? Is it happening still? Is it over? I don't know. I got to fill it out, She never uses words like sorry. I'd love to hear that. I mean, that's a word she definitely doesn't know what it means. And I say it all the time. I walk around the house with just a sack of sorries, just handing them out all day. I try to give her some, would you like to carry some of these? She's like, I don't have pockets, so I'm good. We didn't talk that whole night. I mean, we're just sitting there, our daughters, we're watching TV, eating, and I'm like, hey, your mom's crazy, right? And she's like, did you do your homework, or you don't want to be dumb like your dad? And then your daughter's just like, are y'all lunatics? I'm not smart at all. I'm smart enough to answer my 6-year-old's questions. She's like, why is the sun hot? I'm like, 'cause it's on fire. It's a stupid question. I tell her that, all right, because I know that she'll be smarter than me next year and then just for the rest of her life. So I am really sticking it to her while I can. I know nothing about adult stuff that you're supposed to know about. Global warming, that's one that everybody yells at you about. And they're like, you better do something. I'm so tired of it. Let's do it. I barely made it out of high school. I don't really know how rain works. So why Why don't you let me figure that out, and then I'll do global warming, But I've seen it rain without clouds. Where's that water coming from? So I'm pretty swamped with this rain stuff right now, but once I get to the bottom of that, I'm going to do global warming, and I've got some pretty good ideas, He gets to it. It's batter and syrup. They're in clear containers. They're not labeled, but they're in clear containers. He gets the syrup and starts pouring it on the waffle iron. And I'm not even stopping him because he's not doing it where he's going, I've never done that. He's doing it where we're probably going to try it after. I mean, he's just like, you're like, dude, I can't wait to see what this guy's making. Like, he might know something that I don't know. He shuts it, turns it over, it cooks. He's like looking at us. We're like, the whole line's like, yeah, what is that going to be? And it makes black smoke is what it makes. Dark black smoke. Just starts filling the lobby. The manager comes over. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I guess I poured the wrong one. These are not labeled. And the guy's like, they're in clear containers. Do you not know the difference of batter and syrup? And he's like, I bet it happens all the time. He goes, I've worked here my whole life and I've never seen this. Always talk to me very easy too, or dumb. Like if I talk to a stranger, I can always feel it. And I think it's my eyes. I have big eyes, And so I just get a lot of like, you still with me, man? And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I'm listening. And he goes, all right, I don't feel like you could have been anywhere,